Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings, to the We Are Change daily news broadcast where, we just try to expose the system that feeds off your ignorance, puts you in poverty, and psychologically tricks you to hate your fellow man. Our usual news broadcast, and in today's video, we are going to be giving you an update on the pedos in Hollywood, FBI false flag terrorism, Hillary Clinton robbing a poor old man, and where the latest bombs are dropping in the world. And to start today off, we have a bombshell revelation by Donna Brazile, the former head of the DNC, who came out in a new book today and said that Hillary Clinton robbed Bernie Sanders of the Democratic nomination. A big shocking revelation that a lot of us actually knew, but now because Donna Brazile is saying it, the people who ignored it or didn't want to believe it before now have to face the reality of it. Now, Donna Brazile, who formerly worked for CNN and leaked questions to the debates unfairly to Hillary Clinton, giving her an unfair advantage over Bernie Sanders, came out today and said that she stumbled upon shocking truth about the Clinton campaign and how Hillary Clinton campaign had full control of all finances in the DNC, unethically pushed out Bernie Sanders, and she detailed how the former DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, let Clinton headquarters do whatever they wanted and desired with that money, which brings us to a bigger point that not many people are picking up on, and that is the fact that Hillary Clinton had knowledge of where all the money was going, including the $12 million fund for the Fusion GPS defamation dossier on Donald Trump that claimed that he was peed on by Russian prostitutes. Yes, I know the story gets confusing, but in simple terms, just know Hillary Clinton is a crook who not only had an unfair advantage with the DNC, but also with Twitter that just came out and admitted that it buried Podesta email and DNC leak hashtags, purposefully censoring and suppressing that content from the American public, hiding that corruption from the general public on Twitter. And that confirms what I've been trying to say for years now, and that the revolution will not be in your newsfeed or on any social media company, obviously connected to the corporate government overlords. Now, moving on to more pressing matters, with the latest events that happened in New York City during a terrorist attack, we are now learning that U.S. government federal agents interviewed the terrorist in this week's terrorist attack in New York City all the way back in 2015 for possible ties to suspected terrorists, but they just dropped the case. Which highlights a very important point that we made in yesterday's video, and that is in no way that the government spying apparatuses against the American public that watch and see virtually every communication and action online could possibly miss this with the capabilities that they have, but do because they're only interested in bulk data collection instead of targeting their surveillance, which would stop these events. And another point that's very important to note about this is that the FBI in their previous investigations, even one announced last month, not only supports patsies, gives them fake bombs, pushes them to commit terrorist attacks, and then takes credit for preventing said attack, as unveiled just a few days ago, and then take the credit for stopping an attack that wouldn't be possible without them. Just like they did a few months ago with this paranoid schizophrenic, whose family, by the way, was trying to push away the undercover FBI agents from their mentally ill son who was incapable of any attack, and then aided and abetted him to commit it, and then without the public knowing the full story about it, we hear headlines like, "This one that scares the crap out of the general public." Now, it's still unsure to say that this could have happened or couldn't have happened with this latest event in New York City, but the fact that the federal government knew who this guy was, interviewed him before, and failed to stop him does make him look bad. And we do have to admit that they have been very honest and forefront when it comes to releasing information to the general public about this latest event in New York City. Unlike the Las Vegas massacre shooting, which we still know very little about and has fallen out of the news cycle, and yet still no video is released of the shooter, even though there were thousands of cameras there, unlike New York City, where we saw the videos instantly. But I digress. And now moving forward, in the latest news about the pedophile-infiltrated Hollywood scandal, where we're finding out more whistleblowers and actors are coming out against Kevin Spacey, accusing him of preying on young men and being a pedophile. And in no shocking news at all, we are learning that Kevin Spacey is now going to seek evaluation and treatment because of the, quote, sexual harassment allegations against him. And in the most likely case, this treatment will happen in Europe, where he will be joined by Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski, and other sexual predators who are running away from the U.S. judicial system and justice for their crimes. And with more accusers coming out against Kevin Spacey, it will be very interesting to see how this situation will evolve. Dennis Hoffman has also been accused of sexually harassing an underage person as well, and it really looks like the dam is breaking in on Hollywood right now, with the environment being right now more ripe than ever to expose the pedophiles in Hollywood. And while the mainstream media still tries to portray this entire scandal happening in Hollywood as a sexual assault scandal, in reality it's a pedophile one that goes up into the upper echelons of our society that needs to be exposed, that of course they're covering up. And now, more lighter news about where bombs are dropping in the world. We're learning that just yesterday Israel attacked the Syrian military once again, attacking their weapons depot in Syria's Homs province. Once again, directly attacking the forces that are fighting against the rebel groups ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and al-Nusra, ultimately providing them air support. Now, of course, Syria fired back with anti-aircraft missiles, which missed the Israeli warplanes. And this is just one of many attacks to come soon, with Israel being mad at the Assad government for winning the Syrian war against ISIS and Al-Qaeda, who are both on the ropes. And of course, this entire incident pisses off countries like Russia and Iran, who are really involved in a proxy war between Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States. Iran also just issued another chillin' warning to the United States forces in the Middle East in response to reports of Donald Trump seeking to impose new sanctions against Iran and their missile program, which they responded by saying that there is no need to increase the range of their ballistic missiles as they could reach U.S. forces stationed throughout the Middle Eastern region. Iran is also pushing Russia to help isolate the United States by ditching the U.S. dollar, which we have seen Russia and China make very significant moves against in the past. The bigger kind of economic warfare that has been happening between superpowers revolving around the petrodollar. But again, I'm digressing. And back here in the United States, with the mainstream media pushing Russia to be the main villain against the United States, driving the social discord so we hate another country, and don't look at the soaring wealth and power inequality happening in this country. And as we learned today, most Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck and are in some kind of debt. 78% to be exact of U.S. workers who are living paycheck to paycheck, while 71% are living in debt. So while the corporate kakistocracy is infiltrating almost every branch of our government, setting policies that are favorable to them that were supposed to regulate their industries, just remember, Russia's bad. I posted this helpful infographic on my Twitter, which will be in the description below, so you can see yourself how the heads of Goldman Sachs, media, Monsanto, and the pharmaceutical industry, the corporate kakistocracy, has ultimately infiltrated and bought our government, and, are running it and robbing us blind. And I think that's what really makes me different than other kind of newscasters, because I do agree with the right and their problems with government, and the left with their problems of corporations. In between the bat poop crazy stuff that they put out there, some of their points are actually valid. And without politically aligning myself with either side, focusing on the problems that we all face together, our commonality, the things that bring us actually together, I think is a lot better than us fighting in the streets against each other. Well, who knows? I'm just a stupid YouTuber. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Am I stupid? Am I naive? Am I too optimistic? Or do you actually resonate and agree with that message? And remember, I always engage with everyone as soon as the video comes out on this YouTube channel, so don't forget to click the bell button if you want to be a part of the conversation. And now, finally, some good news, as we're finding out that more than 1 million people cut the cord in the last 3 months away from major cable companies or the propaganda, disinformation, Hollywood-run, pedophile, CIA-infested mainstream media networks, and now they're getting their entertainment and news from a diversified platform filled with independent journalists and shows like this one. But it could also be because we're all broke and we're getting robbed. Corporatocracy, kakistocracy, globalist system that we all live under. Yeah. Maybe not so good news. But hey, I'm optimistic. So yeah, that is the news for today. If you enjoyed this program, share it with your friends and family members. Don't forget to support us on wearechange.org/donate, because unlike the CIA pedophile infiltrated media business, we're directly run by your donations and cryptocurrencies, which allows us to be fully free and independent, and I could talk as much trash as I want against the powers that be, mainly because of you. And that's why I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Whenever there are riots anywhere in the world, Luke is there on the ground.
Oh shit, shit. Oh shit. I'm a fucking journalist, you motherfucker!
Immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity.
When politicians need a reality check, he faces them and confronts them head on.
What happens when you worship Moloch at the Bohemian Grove?
Well,
When there's an injustice in the world, we expose it. They also talk about some hippy-dippy stuff like mushrooms, DMT, acid, quantum physics, consciousness, and seeking solutions to the problems that we face. We travel the world, question authority, stand up for our rights, and fight back against the elite with the greatest weapon humanity has ever had in history, a video camera. We are fully funded by you and only you. No one else tells us what to do because together
we are change. Thank you guys.
New videos every Sunday through Thursday. Subscribe.